Hey there, have you ever thought that you're working really hard but not getting much stuff done? Well, I'm sure we've all been in that situation at least some of the time in our lives, either individually, in a team, or as a whole in the company. So there's two broad ways of speeding up the amount of work we get done. One is where we focus most of our attention much of the time, but the other one matters equally as well, but often goes unnoticed, and it's incredibly powerful. To learn about it, stay tuned. Hey there, Ian here once again, and it's a pleasure to be able to be with you. I hope this is catching you happy, healthy, and strong. To get more stuff done, there's two broad ways of approaching it. And you can call them working hard and working smart. Working hard is we look at the tasks in front of us and we learn and try and do it as fast as possible. The other way is working smarter, looking at the amount of work we have to do and try and reduce the amount of work. Enter something called Little's Law, named after Professor John Little, who did some research into this topic. Little's Law states that the start to finish time, or the stuff that we need to get done, is a product. It equals the work in process times the cycle time. The work in process is the amount of work that's on our plate, and the cycle time is how fast we can do it. Think of this simple example. Let's say that the work in progress or work in process is the queue in a coffee shop. The people are the work in process, and there are 10 people in the coffee shop. Let's say it takes 1 minute to serve each person, take their order and serve their drink. That means to process that queue, start to finish time, is 10 minutes. 10 people times 1 minute. Now, if we worked on our process, our cycle time, and we really worked hard and shaved an impressive 25% off that cycle time. So each person now took 45 seconds to get served instead of 1 minute. Then it takes 7.5 minutes to clear the same queue. If we looked at the other side of the equation, so that was working on the cycle time, if we looked at the work in process and tried to reduce that, let's see what happens. How would we do it? Open up another serving station in parallel to the original one. Without any process improvement, it's 1 minute per customer, and the queue gets reduced, it gets cleared in half the time, 50% of the time, without any process improvement. We've just reduced the work in process. So this is working smarter rather than just working harder. Now, of course, we've got to do both. We want to be as effective as we can, as efficient as we can, but reducing the work in process is, in this case, much more effective at processing the queue. Now, for my accounting friends that do a job that is essential in companies and a job that I struggle to do, let's just look at a little short diversion, because many of you are thinking, well, okay, it's not that easy, it's not that simple just to open up another serving station as if by magic. Of course it isn't. But here are a few assumptions. I'm assuming that you're running a growing coffee shop because you've got 10 people in the queue. And if it takes a consistent time to process that 10 people and you want to grow the business, we run the risk of the people at the end of the queue maybe wanting to get their coffee elsewhere. They may not come back to you because it just takes too long. So I'm assuming that the shop is a going concern and you're looking to improve and grow the business. Therefore, investing in another station is probably a good bet if that is the situation that you're in. Now, there are a number of ways of hiring a person. You can hire some part-time baristas to take care of the peak loads. You could hire a permanent person and then have that person work on other aspects of improving the business, while in addition to having them on station at the peak flow time. So there are a number of ways of looking at this, but I just wanted to visit that because some accountants will be saying, well, that's not quite the full picture. There are other financial concerns. Of course there are, but I hope that that settles us down a little bit. Back to the core principle. There are so many ways of reducing work in process. Look at the amount of projects that you may be working on, either as an individual or as a team. Reducing the number of projects helps us focus on what's really important. That project gets completed quicker and the benefits start accruing to us faster. Look at the amount of email or the amount of WhatsApp messages that we get on a daily, weekly basis. We can learn to type faster and clear out and improve our throughput, or we can take a look at why do we have so many messages and take a systems approach that reduces the inflow of those messages, and that is a much more effective way than just trying to type faster. Another way of reducing our work in process is the environment that we're working on. You can't see my desk, but often it's pretty cluttered and messy. Guilty as charged. If we can reduce this type of work in process, the amount of stuff that's on our desk, it clears our minds, helps us to focus on what's really important right now in front of us and get that out of the way before we move to the next thing. Applying these things really is a gift that keeps on giving. If we reduce the work in process, it's often a one-time fix. We put a system in place that reduces the work in process and we get to keep the system. The system just keeps on working, reducing our work in process and allows us to improve that all-important start to finish time. So I really hope that that did make sense. When you think that you're working really hard but not achieving much, there's a very good chance that we've got too much work in process. Take a look at reducing that through working smarter and putting systems in place. And my bet is you'll get more done in the same amount of time. I really hope that that did make sense. Take care of each other, and I look forward to sharing with you again soon.